Welcome to the Cricket Weekly podcast, everybody. It's Adam here and Nabil. What's going on, Nabil?
What's good, Adam? How's everybody doing? How are you doing? How was your weekend? You had a good time?
Oh, hey, you had a great time. You had a good time. I got to give props here. Nabil Khan and the Milford Cricket Club winning the SP Memorial Trophy here in Connecticut. Guys, you're not going to believe this. We had a double super over. We had a super over, guys. Super over. It was so crazy. At multiple times during this game, it was like, oh, this team is definitely going to win. This team's got it in the bag. And then it's like, come back here, come back there, super over, blunder, super over blunder. And then Nabil Khan hits a six. To get a 14-run super over and ends up taking it in the end. So, yeah, it was a great weekend of cricket. A lot of questions coming in.
Oh, yeah?
How is it from your perspective? Tell me how it was from your perspective, Nabil.
My perspective, I mean, the game should have been done, I feel like in the first, even before I think like super over, right? It's stretch 144 was a tough ask to defend in the first place, I think. But I think we could have won it, but the first super over we could have won, and then obviously won the second one. But my thought process was just looking for a length ball, in that last few deliveries, and just looking for something to get over the fence, and got lucky with a length ball there, and was able to line it up over cow corner, as they call it.
Yeah. So just to be clear, guys, they were chasing, and New Milford set a total of 140, right? 144 to win. And the Super Kings, the Stanford Super Kings, they should have won the game in the last over, and they were run out on the last ball to basically send it to a draw. And then Super Kings batted. They only scored 4 runs, I believe, from their super over, because it was 2 wickets. And then New Milford came out, and then there was, I think, a 2. And then there was 3 dot balls in a row, and then just weren't able to score 5 runs. Oh, they scored exactly 4, right?
Yeah.
And then the Milford came out. Nabil scored 14, and then they weren't able to score. Maybe they scored 10, I think. But they needed 6 off the last ball to make it another super over. So yeah.
Needed 6 off the last ball. I'm glad the youngster actually defended it, who bowled that last over. So shout out to
great bowling from the youngster.
Yeah, Aries bowled amazing over to defend the 14 runs, and took us home. And it was a great SPM tournament. It'll be a bigger and better tournament next year. So looking forward to more teams being part of that next year.
We got a couple questions here. I got a couple questions. Is Major League Cricket coming back to Texas?
Yeah, I think so.
So yes. Major League. So the Major League Cricket works. Got a bunch of Major League Cricket questions. Major League Cricket is played basically in a tournament style in July. So it came after the World Cup this year, because World Cup was hosted in the USA, and then it looks to be the same for next year. It'll be a 6 to 8 week tournament style. They have the stadium in Texas, Grand Prairie. They've opened up a new stadium we mentioned last week, new stadium in Oakland. So San Francisco will be able to play out in Oakland. There's a hope that they'll be able to get one out in Washington. And they have the North Carolina stadium also. So July next year. And then what are your thoughts when you say, what are the first thoughts when you say cricket to Americans? Well, most Americans don't understand the cricket, but we have Nabil. Like, we have homegrown Americans here that do understand cricket. And here in Connecticut, we've discovered that there's leagues here. There's hundreds of people that play cricket here, and he's going to go find them. They play, and
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
and
there's
how do I
players
get to
everywhere, man,
play?
like all across Northeast. Yeah.
Yeah, then another question from Bradley says, how do I get to play on the Major League Cricket out in America? So the pathways to get to Major League Cricket, we've been discussing this at length over the past few weeks. Kind of narrow, but there is a national
Very
championship
narrow.
in a couple of weeks or next week, I believe. But basically, there's a minor league system, there's club systems, and really you'd have to find a club, and then do well in a club, try out for your local minor league side, get noticed from there, try to go to a regional USA Cricket Academy event, and then try to get picked up from there. But the realistic thing around the MLC is realistically just, it's mostly an international game play, international players playing in a USA. So most of the USA players that are playing are the ones that are solely on the USA team, and most of the players are actually internationals. So the best way to play cricket here is just to get into a club scene and then work your way up to the minor leagues. That would be the
Yeah, and even then you need, like, connections to get through, right? Like, it's not like it's an easy path where you're just like, all right, I'm just gonna come and play here, and if I just do well, I can get to the next level. No, it's the struggle is real, just like any other country. There's systematic issues, and that's what we're here to discuss tonight, right? Like the title of today's episode, right? Hidden issues expose what they're not telling you, right? So
yeah,
we obviously want to talk about some issues that are been coming up in USA cricket. There's issues of transparency. There's issues of media not being allowed to interview players. There's other problems going on with um, the safeguarding players, right? Especially the underage players that are traveling. So there's news, the reports that came out according to some of the USA journalists. So we want to get into some of those things tonight, right, Adam? So let's first do a quick recap of last week, because last week what we discussed was pretty significant about Stuart Law's sacking. It was allegations about favoritism, distrust within the team. And it was just one layer, I feel like, of what we discussed, right? There's other layers to peel off this onion, I feel like, and I want to do that tonight. So what are you thinking, man? First of all, about just first about being transparent, right? Letting your news, however it is, what it is, let it come out, let the media kind of know in certain type of communications of sorts. How do they approach, or how should they approach this kind of a communication with the media, or the allowance to
well,
these
one of the
things?
big differences we have here with cricket in the USA is that it's not a national, like, recognized sport in the sense of like NFL, baseball, or whatever. Like, there's no ESPN, Fox Sports coverage of this event. There's no television broadcast. It's not on even cable American television. Obviously, you can get Willow TV channel through cable, but it's not like you're going to watch, you turn on to the Fox or the NBC or whatever, you're watching the sport. Like, it's basically a hidden sport inside of America, and they're able to basically do whatever they want. There's no one knocking down their door to get answers. Like, when you consider, let's just use Australia example, that's my bread and butter over there. Like, the Australian cricket team is followed around with cameras, every day of their life. Whether it's the players, or it's the coaching staff, or it's the selectors, they have press conferences after every game. Those press conferences are on the news. They're on, like, the nightly news. It's covered very frequently in the sports report of every channel that covers sport, because the way that it works a little different in Australia, you have the regular news and it goes straight to the sports report, and that's generally cricket, football, AFL. They're just reported on every day, and you have access to those people every day through press conferences. Whereas here, like, cricket isn't a televised sport in the sense of it's publicly easy to watch TV. The other way to watch it is through Willow TV. Shout out to Willow TV. But that's the only way to watch it.
Yeah.
So it is they can just really honestly do whatever they want. And then we have people like Della Penna here that are following them constantly and using Twitter and their social media avenues to basically get the word out about what's going on. And people follow me specifically on TikTok because I'm the only, like, I post highlights of the game and they're like in England or in other countries like, oh, I don't see anything. I only see whatever you post. And that's just where we're at. So the fact that they just are not being transparent and hiding everything is not a crazy thing because there's no one publicly knocking down their door. There's no backlash. Jason Kelsey just threw someone's phone on the ground. It's on everyone's social media thing. Like everyone's following him. Like for these USA players, they could do anything they want. Anything could happen, and no news is going to cover it because they just no one cares enough, or it's not part of their, scheduled programming to like, oh, the cricket guy got sacked. Like they don't even know people on ESPN probably don't even know what cricket is. They got no idea what cricket is. You know what I mean? That's just the world that we live in. Like the reporting and the journalism, sports journalism, the journalists in this country don't know anything about cricket. So they're not going to cover it. And then any of us that do cover it, they just like, we don't want to tell you anything that's going on because it's going to make us look bad. Because it will.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, like they control that avenue, right? Of honestly, like who they can allow to talk to the players and who's really getting the access, And I think all media and fans should have access to the players. There should be transparency within that process, right? I mean, like it just doesn't affect, any news that these guys want to get out. A lot of it has to do with the recognition that, these young players can get, right? Guys like Utkarsh Srivastava, who scored a maiden half century on ODI debut, deserved to be in the spotlight, deserved to be interviewed and, by the journalists and kind of be in that spotlight. He earned it. But, we restrict those media access and it's really doesn't help with, the promise of transparency, from the current administration and things like that when they were coming into power, right? So transparency is what we need, man, and it just doesn't impact the the journalists and the people that want to obviously know what's going on, but also the players themselves, because you're kind of taking them away from that highlight or the limelight of sorts, right? So yeah, it's multiple ways, man, that it goes, when it comes to these types of things. And like, we want to know from you guys, our viewers, what do you guys think? Does restricting media access help, cricket, USA Cricket manage its image, or does it hurt the team's connection with fans? Which side do you land on this argument? We want to know from you guys. So drop your, thoughts in the comments and let us know what you guys think, regarding this, media access, because I think it's a really crucial thing for us to get cricket out there. We obviously need more journalists. And if you're going to treat your 4 or 5 guys or one of your main guys who've been covering cricket for so long, treat them like that, then it's not really going to be a good look for anybody else to come and be part of that type of a career of sorts, right? Because nobody would want to follow it if they're seeing that type of a treatment. So it's kind of sad, man, to see, very sad to see that things have come out to this point. And then the other thing that came out was the news that the safeguarding of players, right? So I'm just going to go to profile here. I'm just not going to name the player, but I'll pull it off of right from the reporter here. You obviously know Peter reports and all this stuff, so you guys can check it out on his profile that he's reporting, right? So on his report, some extremely disturbing rumors starting to emerge about the behavior carried out on the USA men's tour of Namibia last month by grown men in their 30s towards a 17-year-old member of the touring party who at the end of the day is legally a minor. Let's just say it's kind of conduct or misconduct, which would get 30-plus-year-old high school teacher suspended or fired if he was engaging in similar behavior towards, or with a 17-year-old student, chaperone, or a school person. A quick scan through the USA Cricket website shows that there doesn't appear to be any child safeguarding policy in place for senior team tours, whether men's or women's, rather than restricting media access to certain journalists. This seems like something the new CEO might want to focus on as a high priority. So essentially in this report, right, the bigger news was the safeguarding of these players, right? Because there's obviously players that are going to be under 21, not legally allowed to drink. And, if they're going overseas, wherever they're playing, and if they are to indulge in that type of stuff, then who is ultimately responsible for those types of things? So that I don't think, as you reported, there isn't anything on their website. So what are your thoughts on that, Adam? What do you think regarding some of that stuff?
Well, yeah, it's like I said, there's no one's checking in on what's going on, and like I said, they can get away with anything they want, really, because no one's really chasing them down. But obviously, if there's someone coming out saying they did something wrong, then yeah, if they have no policies in place, then it's like, what are you going to do? And it's obviously hard when you have the age discrepancy in the team, and obviously the guys and girls travel. They don't normally travel to the same places. The girls team didn't play the same place the guys did, so. So I don't think that's the issue. If it's just the, you got the grown men and the younger guys or whatever, they're going out drinking or whatever. Like, technically I can say I've been there. I've traveled overseas for a traveling cricket team, and I've been overseas and whatever. But you have parents with you, like the parents are with them, like you're traveling school team, so you don't do the parents watch, and it's what happens on tour stays on tour.
Yeah, well, I mean, parents are concerned though. I'm sure the parents would be like, "Dude, I don't know if I want to send my 18-year-old to."
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like when I traveled to Sri Lanka,
not protected, so.
Yeah, when I traveled to Sri Lanka, like my parents were with me. Like all the parents came with all the kids. So
That's crazy.
And,
Yeah,
we're just out doing stuff in Sri Lanka, and
that's
stuff
awesome.
in Hong Kong. Stuff in Hong Kong too. Hong Kong was different in Sri Lanka. When I went to Sri Lanka, I was 15. When I went to Hong Kong, I was 17, just about to turn 18.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're walking the streets of Hong Kong at 2 a.m. in the morning. Like, sure, go ahead.
Yeah.
Like, like we took a guys team and a girls team, so they were like, the guys would chaperone the girls. So be like, oh yeah, we're gonna walk the streets of Hong Kong at 2 a.m. Yeah, go ahead. Like, but that was a different time. You could do that back then. You can't do that now.
Yeah,
that was the early 2000s, man. You can't do that now. Times have changed. Times have changed. Because you think back in the day, like you go grab some highlights of like the 1990s Ashes tour, like Australia. Like you'd have Merv Hughes and that talk about how many cases of beer. They'd bring over like so many cases of 4X gold. They'd have the game, have a total piss up that night, and then go back and play cricket the next morning, win a test match, win the Ashes, have another, piss up, just drink, play cricket again. Like that's how cricket was. Cricket was different.
Yeah.
Sport was different back then. Even rugby league, all the sports, like it was very common just to have like alcohol and partying part of sport after the event. But now it's so regimented, nutritionists, psychologists, it's a whole business. It's a whole it's more of a business than a sport now. These players are getting
come a long way
dollars.
Professionally. It's become a professional sport because obviously the business and the investments that have gone into the game to make cricket mainstream across the world, the demands have changed. For the cricketers, and they have to obviously, perform at a higher level than perhaps some of the guys that had to with that. I'm just talking pressure, right?
Yeah.
So these guys, I think in today's day and age, have a lot more pressure with the amount of cricket there is, the amount of money's on the line, with the amount of investments that are going into, their entire process. So I just think that pressure, a lot of guys, can't handle, and some guys obviously come through. But back in the day, it was just about going out there and being your best, so the mindset was different in the nostalgic and old times.
The players that played back then, like the do your best before sports performance really existed, they were incredible players. Like I would take the McGraw, Warren, Ricky Ponting, like that early 2000s team. They would sweep any team in this current era. Like you haven't got a chance. You think they have a good chance? Which team currently, even Virat Kohli, anyone? Could anyone beat Warren, McGraw, Gillespie, like, batting, Haydos, Langer, Ricky Ponting, Steve Waugh. No, they would win every tournament. They'd still win everything. And those guys were in in the era of blending from drinking, heavy partying. They probably were still in that party era, definitely in their younger years.
They partied in the 90s.
Yeah. And it was by the end of that era where it transitioned like 2010-ish, around that era where they transitioned into this more, business-based style, because I didn't pay them that much money back in those days. It was enough to live. It was a living wage, but it wasn't $1 million. Like Cummins is on $2 million. Like that's super new. That's super new. So
yeah.
And then you think about the USA guys, they're not getting anywhere near that. They wouldn't be getting anywhere close to that. They're not getting $1 million to play cricket.
I mean, they can. The market is huge here. That's what I'm saying. They just haven't found the right approach.
Potential versus what's happening is two different things. Like you're sitting on a continent where there's 330 million people watching sport, and all you got to do is flick a switch at ESPN and get people involved in talking about cricket and playing cricket, but it's just not happening. And I don't know if it's like the ICC and the South Asian community like gatekeeping it, or if it's an ESPN like America problem, because I don't know if it's just like they're just like baseball, football. I don't know if that's their thing.
It's all about focus, man. It's all about focus and insecurity about that control kind of being gone, right? Because once cricket goes mainstream, you better believe that control isn't going to be there. What these guys have right now, what they're able to pull off, when it comes to allowing certain guys and not allowing certain guys. So I think it's mostly it just has to do with being able to control the situation, and they want it to be a slow growth instead of just kind of going out there and being like, dude, let's grow this thing as fast as we can and, invest and have the right visions to go about and executing it. But it's not really the intention, because the intentions are right now to just kind of progressively grow and build the strength of this, core, whatever core is running the show. The stronger they become, the stronger hold they can get over the entire system. Then, that's what the goal is, instead of just kind of seeing cricket grow all the way through. Because again, if that happens tomorrow, that control is gone. Right. So I think we need to keep that in mind.
Like it's almost like their goal isn't to impede on the American sports fan. Like they're just picking up everybody else. Like we talked about the MLC earlier, like how to get the MLC, what's the MLC about, can you play MLC? That's for international fans. Like more international fans are watching that game than actual USA players. Like half the players on every team are from somewhere else. And so you're going to get viewership from South Africa, Australia, New Zealand, West Indies, England. There's not too many English players, I don't think. There wasn't too many English players, but there were South African guys, Australian guys, West Indian guys, all playing in that tournament, and they're going to get the eyes. People are going to follow. You're going to get Australian sports fans and those sports fans watching the MLC, but you're not really growing the American sports fan to watch that. You know what I mean? Because even just watching Nepal USA, Scotland USA, cricket at Grand Prairie Stadium, there isn't an American fan there.
Yeah.
12 or 14. All the Nepalese people packed out the house.
Yeah.
And obviously there's no Scottish fans there, but you're just going to have, it's just South Asian guys coming down to watch, or the guys from, Nepal coming out, because they just packed out that stadium for those games. And, you're not going to get them to care too much unless you've got, your football fan, your American sports fan caring. But that's
the challenge. That's the challenge. Because, it's a challenge because right now, obviously, the focus is again towards, the media rights and, how cricket is distributed across the world, right? Where the revenue gets generated from. So a lot has to do, a lot of the decisions come from where the revenue comes from, right? So wherever they see the revenue stream kind of coming from, that's where their vision tends to go. And, because it's a safe option, right? It's a safe approach to think like, hey, if I take this route, at least we're going to make some money, we're going to have a growth. And, it's irrelevant what kind of market we're targeting, as long as, there is a market. So that's the focus right now, instead of kind of having a broader plan, right? Because right now we're so niched again towards the South Asian community. As you said, if there's a match between USA and Nepal fans will pack the house, right? And there'll hardly be any USA fans. So again, that the broadness is what we need within the sport, right? I'm glad that in the current USA team, there's about 6 or 7 guys that are playing that are born and raised here in USA, right? So like that number's gone down from most of the team being just overseas players, imported players, to now at least having 6, 7 of those guys being born and raised here. It's a great step in the right direction, but I think there's a lot more steps to take, right, when it comes to really having a broader viewpoint and a broader approach to getting the broader audience into cricket, right? Because again, that's what we need, an American fan, American sports fan, to also that's watching football, baseball, and any other American sport, basketball. That's the fan you want to watch cricket as well. So
Yeah.
how can we do that? What steps can we take? What things we can do to really align, fill the gap? And again, brand partnerships, deals with, sports athletes across these sporting, leagues, NBA, NFL, MLB, get players from there, do some cross promotions, get them to try out cricket, do some content, create some buzz. It's literally not that like hard if you have the resources and money, and which I'm pretty sure USA Cricket does if they put their mind to this, right? Like it's not like that me and you were trying to pull off an interview with the LeBron James, right? It's USA Cricket that can probably get some type of a thing. So
But you think
that's
about like how we got here, like how I got here was that USA beat Pakistan during the World Cup, and then every media outlet talked about it for a day. That's all it was. It just took everyone talking about it. Like you couldn't get away from it. Everyone that covered news talked about it. Even just a classic American social media people made fun about it. And, they made skits about it or whatever. But it was like, hey, did you know we had a cricket team? Yeah, we're good at it. Like America, rah! Like even that was just pushing the whole. Hey, we have a cricket team. We play cricket. We're winning. We're doing good. And it got people to watch, because if USA don't beat Pakistan, wouldn't have been anything talked about. We wouldn't have even known it was there.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have even known it was hosted here in the USA. You wouldn't have known we built these stadiums and then tore them down. You wouldn't have known anything. And America would have been in the dark and we wouldn't even be here. But the fact that they won and people picked it up. So like it's all you got to do is have these networks pick it up. Oh, hey, Nepal got swept, or we beat Nepal and Scotland in the CWC. USA is top of the ranks in the League 2. They're going to be moving on to qualify. Yeah. Like that should be a 30-second, 60-second piece of someone's news.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because like I think it was DeFranco is like a guy. He's like the big social media news guy. He made a post about it. And I actually made a video and put it in his comment section, and I got a lot of things. People were like, if you go to the comment section of those videos when USA beat Pakistan, all the comment sections like, I didn't even know we had a cricket team, didn't even know how to play cricket.
Yeah.
Well,
if you go to like USA Cricket's Facebook page, right, and you read comments on the posts that they make, a lot of the time you'll see people commenting, "Oh, congratulations, India and Pakistan! Congratulations, India B." You'll see those types of comments all across their pages, and it's not like that it's just one-offs. It's literally from a lot of fans, right? So it's again not a viewpoint from just one perspective. It's the entire world as well. They see it as that, where it's like, all right, this team is for players from other countries that have not made their, national team. So they move to the US, and, that's kind of the image that was created initially, right? Like, hey, you didn't get selected in India after under 19. Sure. Come over here and play in the US. Oh, you don't play in New Zealand anymore? Sure, come here, play in the US. You don't play in Australia or India and Pakistan anymore? Come, that's what happened,
Yeah.
right? So essentially now we at least have, 6, 7 guys, young guys born and raised here, and there's so much potential talent that's coming through. So now obviously, let's talk about, with Stuart Law gone, right, and the direction of the team, right? Like,
Hmm.
what do you think USA Cricket needs to do to rebuild that unity and trust, and who can be potential coaching options to replace him? Right now, I know it's one guy, like maybe one of the Ranji players who was an assistant coach, is now essentially taking charge of the team. He's an Indian origin and Indian coach, so again has that influence on the team. So I'm not sure if players have that control now to kind of manage, or how it's being done, right? So that's another challenge. And again, coaching, after just kind of seeing this debacle with Stuart Law, can we even get any high profile coaches now? Would anyone be even be interested into this role to come on board, unless it's somebody who can be a yes man kind of to the board?
Yeah, we're obviously going to find somebody. I mean, obviously, you would like to see one of the international ex players come on. Like I mentioned last time, we got Watson and Ricky Ponting coming over from Australia doing the MLC coaching. Half their team is already Australian, so it's probably why they're doing it. They're all kind of linking up together, having a good excuse to connect and play together. But is someone going to take on the USA thing? I don't know. I mean, USA went through the effort of putting out this new coaching clinic, coaching certification, which is going on now. I think it's got one more week to go. I'm not sure how many people they've gotten to those, but they're looking to find coaches and do their own certification. They have I signed up for it to get the ICC certification. It's just basically an app. You can go ahead and do that. But I'm sure there's someone
Yeah.
around here that we get Jay. Get Jay. Jay can go over there. He can go work for them. But
Yeah, you
but I had,
can.
I had a good talk to Jay like on the weekend, and it's just like he's just like the system's all about money. It's just different, It's just not. It's there. The world is so far ahead, and cricket is so far behind here in the U.S. that nothing's going to happen
Yeah.
unless they can guarantee it's money for them. There's no grassroots, development that's really going to you have to basically start from zero. You got to take everyone back
Yeah.
to zero. Forget about baseball, forget about football. Hey, we're going to play cricket now as our sport. It's not going to
Yeah.
happen. And then you have to kind of turn the minds of the Americans. Like the best thing for the team to do is they need to get on the front foot on in their social media and talk about how American they are. Because when a I don't know how a white American looks at them, they're like, oh, well, they're from India. They're not American. Like that's just
Yeah.
the straight up visual, oh, they're an Indian person playing cricket. And it's the association of they're playing cricket also, which
Yeah.
makes them less American. Because cricket is not an American ideal thing. Whereas if you had
Yeah.
Otani is Japanese playing in baseball is an American sport. So therefore he is one of us because he plays baseball. You know what?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If we had a Pakistan or Indian that went all the way to the majors and played baseball, well, they would be basically shoot in as an American because now
Yeah.
you're playing our sport, which is the baseball. Because until they can basically belong with cricket, Americans feel like it's their sport. They're going to see everyone that's playing not look like them, so they're not us.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, because I come from a perspective of coming from Australia playing, it's like when I'm in America, I'm the odd person out because I don't
Yeah.
know baseball and I don't know football and I don't know basketball, but
Yeah.
I can go and play with a bunch of Pakistanis and Indians and be fit right in because they understand cricket. They can be
Yeah.
speaking Hindi, but we can still play a whole game of cricket. I got no idea what they're saying, but we know how cricket works. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And that's this thing you got to be is getting those guys to really Americify themselves and have a unity thing. Yeah, we're American. Yeah, we're Indian.
Yeah.
We're my parents grew up in India. We moved here from Pakistan. Now we're America. We believe in America. We play cricket in America. America has cricket.
Yeah.
That's the way that it needs to be.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, it's not about the cricket is again here for everybody, but again, it's about those gatekeepers, right? Because it's literally right now the gatekeepers are holding, access to that gate, and they're like, all right, if you're in this line, sure, you can get through if you have these qualifications, or if you fit this particular criteria within their mold, and they could have similar skill sets, but you know there would be different rules, depending on different players. So that's, again, it's not just in USA cricket, but in World Cricket Administrations. This happens. So, there's different rules for different fools, as they say, right? So that
Yeah.
treatment of, favoritism, and it comes from the top, right? So, like, even if we see like this favoritism thing into the coaching thing that came out, it must have been coming in again from the top, because everything gets driven down to, through the organization. So if there's something that is tolerated from the top of the organization, it's also gonna, sink through the entire thing. So whenever something happens at any level of the organization, right, it's the leadership, it's the administration who's ultimately responsible, because of obviously allowing that type of behavior to either happen before, or not calling it out, or not dealing with it properly. So those things come out in this type of situations, essentially, right, when they're undealt with. And then again, it's a lack of professionalism and lack of transparency for them to be able to just come out and let the people know, hey, this is what's going on. If Stuart Law, was fired, this is why he was fired, this is what happened. And there was nothing on the media release. I mean, the media release that USA Cricket actually posted on their website on October 26th said, USA Cricket announced the departure of men's national team head coach Stuart Law today. Law was appointed to the position in April and led the team during USA's historic performance at this year's T20 World Cup, where the team advanced to the Super 8 in its inaugural World Cup appearance. Given Stewart's contribution to the program, this was not an easy decision to make, said Jonathan Atkinson, CEO of USA Cricket. Unfortunately, we felt that a change was necessary for the next phase of competitive preparation. Vinu Piske, chairman of the USA Cricket, added, we thank Stewart for his contributions to USA Cricket during his tenure. We wish him nothing but success in his future endeavors. And yeah, I mean, that's really it. So there was, again, no clarity. It was very diplomatic type of an approach, and there was no answer. Oh, he was hired in April. We fired him after a good performance, and we wish him good luck. Like, that's all they
Yeah.
posted on their website. So
Yeah. Well, who knows? I mean, like, coaches in the NFL get fired all the time for not performing. And I mean, we mentioned from the top, like when we first started this, that like they needed to win. They needed to keep winning, win at everything.
Yeah.
And they end up getting swept by Netherlands. They get swept by Nepal. And they get beaten by 10 wickets from Scotland. And I'm sure at some point that it's like, oh, we're done.
Yeah.
Like, and then they come back and they've won this last couple games. Like, those are one of those things where like cricket's cricket. Like, we haven't got all the way to Australia versus Pakistan, but like, that was a game where they get rolled for 200 and then you think it's an easy win. And all of a sudden you lose a few wickets. And then all Pakistan need at the end is they're 40 runs ahead. And all I need to get is 2 wickets. And, Australia ends up getting it in the end, but they could have easily lost that game. So it could be very, very easy loss, and that's the thing with cricket is like, it can turn really quickly. India just got swept by 3-game series by New Zealand. Who would have thought that happened?
Oh yeah.
Like it's a weird game. It's not like a like the NFL where like a stacked side is basically a shoe-in to win. Like in cricket, it's turning on a dime. The whole game can change, and you're toast.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's what it is, man. I mean, even the best players lose, right? So winning and losing is part of the game. It's nobody's
just like the Yankees
questioning. Yeah. Nobody's questioning the effort or the trying to actually do the best for USA Cricket. But again, the professionalism and the transparency needs to be, across the organization, no matter, where we're at whatever level of you're at the organization, right? It should be where you have clear communication with your players, the journalists, and the fans, because that's who will actually either can make you or break you, right? So again, it's about dealing with all those things in a manner where everybody's kind of kept within loop that, hey, this is what's coming up or this is what's happening. So just clear communication, right? And getting
Yeah.
fans essentially involved in the process is what we need, right? And Daryl
What they
obviously,
need. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, put a comment up. Transparency always helps towards structuring. Absolutely agree here because again, without transparency, we see what kind of things we're going through in USA cricket, and if we don't fix these issues, it's going to continue to happen. Whoever comes in next will maybe stick around for a little while, and and then maybe get booted, or unless they find a way to again, um, you know, stick around and really just do what they're being told to do, and not really bring any creativity to the process.
Yeah. It's
Which is
almost
again
like
what we need for growth.
it's almost like they're just a company, and because no one's like asking questions, well, asking no, there isn't important people or like the news or anyone asking questions. So they're just like,
Yeah,
oh, we're just gonna wrap that, sweep it under the rug, because no one's chasing him, because
yeah,
who are we to ask them for transparency? You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like it's not like it's like a news outlet. Like imagine if there was like actual ESPN or Barstool or
yeah,
someone really big in sports were trying to chase down these things, it could be mainstream news,
yeah,
with the words discrimination being thrown around and this being thrown around, like that could be
yeah,
super, super big news. But because no one really cares, technically, that they're like,
yeah,
oh, well, we're just not going to tell you what's going on. We'll just put
yeah.
up a media release on the website. Hope you see it. If you don't, you don't,
Yeah,
you know?
but to protect their image, I mean, this is the approach that we've seen, right? Again, this is not new, just sweeping things under the rug. But how much can you sweep under the rug? I don't think there's any more
Oh, it can
any
blow
space
over.
left.
Yeah.
There isn't any space left under there anymore. So I don't know what they should do.
It could be get to a boiling point. Like it's a matter of time. It's just a matter of time. Like I said,
Yeah,
cricket is growing. All these new stadiums being put up. MLC rolling around. Every year we have
yeah,
this tournament. It's going to get bigger and bigger. And then you think 2 years from now we're having the World Cup again. So
yeah,
there's only so much they can, like I said, sweep under the rug. And how long for? Until someone picks it up.
yeah,
And then it's big trouble for them.
yeah. Well, right now I think it's just getting to that 2026 World Cup. They're not looking far beyond that. I mean, yeah, like Olympics is on the horizon in 2028. 2026 we got the T20 World Cup, but it's right now day to day for anybody in that organization, just because of the systematic issues and the problem and the instability within the organization. You don't know who's going to be here, who's not going to be there. But if this core that's actually running the show, if they continue to obviously gain power through certain avenues within the setup, then yeah, then they may stick around, and they may become strong enough to do whatever they want to do, which is going to be a problem, because again, we're not going to see the full representation of the best team that we can possibly put out, out of USA, because again, we can be a top 8 team tomorrow, man, if we had a proper vision, intentions, and right administration doing things to grow the game to a broader audience instead of a very niched audience.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, man. So that was or question on Stuart Law, right? Like who would be the next coach? So did you name anybody, Adam, in that
Oh,
question?
I'm
Who do
still
you
going
want?
with punter. I'm still going
You
Ricky
going
Ponting,
punter?
or I'm still going Ricky
Yeah.
Ponting or Andrew Simon. Not Andrew
For
Simon.
this
Sorry,
question, yeah.
Watson. Watson. Yeah, I think that's probably who I would
Watson and
take to go
punter.
and do it. Yeah, that's who I'd
I
take
think
to
I
do it.
think they're too high profile, man. I don't think we get them, but if we get him, it's gonna be something huge. Or maybe call Gary Kirsten. He just kind of had the same situation in Pakistan. So
Take one of the West Indies guys. I'm sure there's a bunch of West Indies guys sitting around and want to do something that's there,
yeah,
but you know,
yeah,
there's plenty of
yeah.
ex cricketers. Plenty of cricketers. You think about how many ex cricketers switch countries to go coach somewhere else.
Oh
You
yeah,
know, you got, New Zealand coaching England, and you got, Australia coaching Pakistan
yeah.
or India. Like they all cross around, they all move around to go help other countries out or
Well,
get a
we got
job.
Liam Plunkett, who started a pretty big academy, or like a pretty big, he's starting across America, where he's kind of opening up either workshops or little, gym type places where he's offering, his high performance coaching. And then he's on his end, he's training coaches with his program to get them ready for this Liam Plunkett coaching thing, and he's kind of getting that program across the board. So that's something that I think it's a good idea to grow cricket on the grassroots. He's doing it, obviously, at a grassroots level, which is what we need. But I think that's a guy that's been around international cricket. He lives here in the U.S., is aware of the landscape. So maybe they could rope him in if he's of interest.
Well, he still played last season. I don't know if he was going to play again this season. But yeah, like I'm saying, ex-players. Let's take an ex-player.
Yeah.
You don't need to have someone, even as good as Ricky Ponting. Like you can take really any ex-player could come over and help. Because the quality of cricket coming from Australia over here, it's like two different things. Like just me playing grade cricket where I played cricket in Australia, it's just a different level than playing club cricket here. Like any experience that I have, I can help anyone in the club system because like you're just playing on a whole different level, playing in a country where like cricket is like so stacked.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So you can take anyone that's retired. Like even what's the keeper from Australia just retired today. What's his name? The keeper. Oh my goodness, I'm blanking on his name.
Who? Matthew Wade. Matthew
Wade is retired, so Matthew Wade could come. Like anyone that retired from cricket, Jimmy Anderson could come out and coach. Like, but he apparently they've got him looking in the IPL. Like, but I mean, anyone could come coach him. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're all the people that are coaching now are all ex-cricketers from some sort of era. Just take any ex-cricketer from any country to come coach him. You know what I mean? I'm sure someone.
I would again prefer somebody who's been living here for at least a while, because I think if you get an overseas coach and they don't understand the dynamics of how the landscape of America works, they're gonna have a hard time eyeing out players and getting players. So the more a coach knows about the real domestic setup, right, of how this process works, I feel like if me and you were to go do this job tomorrow, would probably do a lot better than anybody else because of just the simple fact that we understand the landscape here, which would be our competitive advantage, right? We may not have the full technical expertise of coaching, but we can damn sure go across the country and eye out 11 best players in the country that can perform at that level that we understand to be international cricket and win matches. You don't think we could accomplish that? We could do that.
Oh, I can do it. I'll teach everyone how to ramp. That's the biggest thing I noticed. Like if you took my strategic analysis of cricket in the USA, like it's crazy. I would just literally just tell everyone to ramp. Like if anyone's watching from Australia or England, like ramp. I can't enforce onto you these field placings they have in America. The field placings are unbelievable. I've never seen fields set before this in my life. They have no one behind square, guys. They never put someone behind square. There's no one behind square. If they do, they put a short, fine leg.
Yeah.
Like I'm used to setting fields with a deep fine and a deep mid wicket. Like that's your like base, like cookie cutter programmed. Like you have to have two people there because obviously we're playing on wickets that bounce a lot in Australia. So you're going to have hooks going down there and you're going to have the stray leg side shot. So it's going to get in there. Guys, they put 5 guys on the deep straight. Like it's mid wicket, cat corner, mid off, mid on, and then a guy at deep point or that sweeps on the offside. So
unless you get somebody with pace, if you get somebody with pace, then you got a long third man and you got a long fine leg if they're gonna bounce you. So.
But even still, I don't see no one. I don't see no one putting no one down there. I would ramp every shot. I would ramp like literally going into next year
in our leagues. There's not like no more than like 75 perhaps. In our league that nobody's touching 80. So like
that's what I'm like. But at Danbury, right? At Danbury on the weekend that I played, like the ball bounces enough on the synthetic wicket where you're just guiding it over your head. You're just guiding it around the stumps. Like it's not
flies.
You haven't got to go crazy.
It's a wacka pitch, bro. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's a wacka pitch. Like considering like no harm on Karan. Like he batted great, but in that Super Over, like he missed 3 attacking shots. Like, there was 3 dot balls there. Balls that were wide outside off stump. So like my whole strategy would be literally step outside the off stump, expose your stumps, and just guide the ball over the keeper's head. Like that is a legit
Yep.
strategy. I'm
Yep.
so into that strategy.
Absolutely. I did that for one of the balls. I mean, I left the ramp. I
Yeah,
left the reverse scoop. I left the
yeah,
reverse and switch
because
hit. I practiced those shots a lot.
because your good shots are basically what's the word I'm looking for? They're not getting you anywhere.
Yeah.
Like even to get like when I played my 3 best shots of the day went straight to a fielder because like there was a direct like point. Like I'm hitting my ball straight to point. Nope, the fielder there, I get covered off.
Yeah.
Okay, you got to figure out how to split the gap
Yeah.
or hit over their head.
Yeah.
And you got to be able to turn the ones into twos. Like hit the ball. The other strategy would be hit the ball softer, get the ball into the outfield to run 2 because you hit the ball too
That's
hard,
right.
you go all the way to the person on the boundary and you can't run it 2. So, yeah. I
Yeah.
got plenty of
Technically, in a super over situation, right? Like for me, I wanted to just kind of look for maybe a couple of boundaries in that over and look for doubles, on every single delivery. So we got a triple off the first, we got a single off the second. I hit the 6 on the third, then I got a double off the fourth and a double off the fifth. That was 14. And then the last ball I ended up missing and he got run out at the end because we just ran the
right.
line.
Yeah.
Right. So it was still good enough, but you got to run the doubles, man. They're so key and look
Yeah.
for 1 or 2 boundaries in that over.
And
And
you got
super
to get
over.
bad on ball.
Yeah. Yeah,
You got to get
exactly.
bad
Yeah.
on ball. Because, like,
Yeah,
just
exactly.
it's missing hitting those dots will get you in the end. Because the
Big
difference, I
time.
think the difference, I don't know what the difference was between the 2 games, but, we were able to score, both teams scored over 220.
Yeah.
And the last 2 games that were played there, the high score was the 140.
Oh yeah. Oh, we
So,
underscored that in that match. Like
yeah.
Stanford Super King should have chased that 144 down, but like we bowled well and we got back in that game, so that was good. But we got
Anyway,
a
that's
upcoming.
what I'm bringing.
Yeah.
That's what I'm bringing to the USA cricket team. I'm teaching them don't
Oh,
hit the ball into the deep. Don't hit the
well,
ball
there
into
you
the
go.
deep. Hit it, keep it on the carpet. Run 2
There
instead
you
of trying
go.
to hit a 6.
There
And
you go,
lots of
man.
scoops, lots of reverse scoops.
Reverse scoops and reverse
Scoops,
sweeps and
ran.
switch hits, do all that. But we got a
No, just ran.
nationals coming up next week, Adam, for
Oh, Nash.
USA
Yep.
Cricket. So, with the nationals, November 11th in Los Angeles, providing an exciting stage for emerging talent and a chance to draw positive attention back to USA Cricket. We're gonna obviously have some younger players, some newer players, going from here in the Northeast. Some players, even from our club, I think are going to be playing in this national from New Milford Cricket Club. I'm not going to announce any names right now of those players, but within a few days, we're going to have some confirmations. And hopefully by next week's episode, I'll have a list of some names, from New Milford Cricket Club and the region of players that are going to be playing in this national tournament. So good luck to all those guys, right? Because they're going to be representing our region, younger kids, and some guys that have been in the system, but again, understand the cricket here. So I'm really excited for some of those guys. And again, I don't want to drop the names right now, just so because there haven't been any announcements yet. So I'm just holding my tone, and once those announcements are out, we'll get those announcements out to you guys. So yeah, the importance of this nationals thing, for the growth of USA cricket, how important it is it for like younger players or even guys that are trying to get to that next step, to kind of get exposure in this national tournament, man.
Oh no, it's great. I came from a country where rep cricket is super important, and you're trying to get to rep cricket to get yourself to the next stage. And that's what we've been talking about for last couple of episodes, is like having systems in place where people can, get to a certain level and they can try out and perform and then get to the next level. And yeah, this is what it is. This is what we have here, this national tournament. So yeah, I'm excited to see the guys go down from this area and excited to see what talent we have. Because yeah, this is where the next,
Yeah.
generation of cricketers are going to come from.
Yeah, big time, man. There's so much talent that I can't, speak enough about it, because again, we see these kids, male and female players training in the academies and doing so well, and the talent's so natural now, is just, and they're being groomed at such a young age that I feel like in 10, 15 years, oh man, like the talent just going to start to overtake the country. And then what are these guys going to do, right? Who's what the whole gatekeepers How can they stop the growth, man? I don't think anybody can do anything about it at certain points. But this national is going to be awesome. So looking forward to that. Good luck to all the players that are going to be participating in this national tournament. You know, I want to highlight the player of the year for USA Cricket now, Adam. This player that I'm going to bring up, you know, he's had a hell of a T20 World Cup, been a leader on and off the field, even in the last match for USA in 2024. He ended the game with the man of the match performance of 4 for 47. You know, Saurabh Netravalkar, man, you know, the ultimate true hero, and I think the player of 2024 for USA Cricket. From us at the Reverse Scoop, man. Some words for that guy because I think he's been truly a game changer for USA Cricket.
Oh, absolutely. And I think, you know, he did his service to his country in the World Cup. Then he was a bowler of the tournament playing in the MLC, and then, you know, taking wickets for the USA. He didn't go over and play in the Nepal, he didn't play in the Canada Netherlands tournament. That's because he had the birth of his child. But yeah, back here in the USA, you know, tearing it up in the final game. That was awesome. So yeah, that was fantastic. So yeah, no, he's doing his stuff, and you know, highlight of the year was taking Kohli for a duck. Kohli for a duck. That was classic right there. I remember commentating that one live. Kohli for a duck. That had everyone excited.
Yeah, his biggest wicket, man, of his career, probably.
Biggest wicket right here for a duck, man. He was just out there fishing, took an edge.
Yeah. So super, you know, happy for him. I think he's got, you know, got to get us through to 2026 World Cup. I don't know how much he has left in the tank, you know, but obviously 2026 World Cup, we're going to be relying on a guy like Saurabh Netravalkar, and hopefully we can continue to build this team, you know, with the talent that's going to come out of the nationals. And obviously, hopefully, we can give chances to those guys that perform well and not sideline them. Because I think, again, these guys that are going to the nationals, it's going to be the next generation of players that are, you know, been born and raised here, training here. And I think those are the guys that, you know, can really take our cricket here in the USA to the next level. So, you know, the focus should be on them to really find some players that can be superstar caliber players, and you get them infused into that USA team. And hopefully we have a good chance, you know, of making the Super 8s again in 2026.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, we're definitely in with the show. That's for sure. And Will on the chat here says, damn, Kohli for a duck. How bold. No, that was so during the World Cup, USA versus India, Netravalkar found the outside edge, caught behind. I might even do a little might even post a little tribute to Netravalkar and his duck to Kohli to celebrate him getting USA Player of the Year. Yeah. Caught behind.
Yeah, absolutely should do that, man. It was a good ball. It was an away swinger.
Oh, you know, right. It was a peach.
Yeah, it was
absolute
a good ball.
Peach of a ball.
It was a good ball, man. I love his action. You know what his action reminds me of? Saurabh Netravalkar. I don't know if you remember the Pakistani Aqib Javed. I don't know if you ever seen him ball in the early 90s. You know, Aqib Javed was just a deadly, very similar swing bowling action. He was a right armer, though. You know, so Netravalkar's a left armer. But if you match their actions, man, it's literally, they look identical, like a mirror image to me sometimes. Wow. And that's why he's such a great swing bowler, because just that action is so smooth and rhythmic. And
no, the action is great. I mean, he only has one X next to his name. That's technically dropping the catch in the same game. That kind of cost us the game. And then the 5-run penalty, blah blah blah. You know, we could have still won that game. We could have run it back. We beat India. Run it back, we beat South Africa. Run it back, we take the World Cup. Run it back. Cricket is now number 1 in the country.
That's too funny, man.
Oh, we were so close.
Oh man, that's too funny. Well, yeah. I mean,
question: if Team USA met Team Aussie Australia, who's winning?
Oh, come on, man.
There's probably no denying.
Where are we playing? I'm gonna ask that. Where are we playing?
What format are we playing?
Where? Are we playing in Australia?
Doesn't matter where. Doesn't matter where. There's no way. Well, my thing is always who's in the team. The team list is important, because just saying Australia and just saying America are two different things. Because if you tell me,
I think the entire game is controlled with conditions. and you can prove that, based on what kind of pitches you can create. So I feel like, if you come to US, my approach would be to literally just get spin tracks, man, like doctor pitches that are going to turn off the cracks.
Doctor pitches.
Yeah, oh yeah, dude.
They're
That's what
playing at Grand
happened.
Prairie.
What do
They're
you think
only playing at
happened?
Grand Prairie.
What do you think happened in the India and the New Zealand test, that India's been dominating in the spin, right? For so long. Same thing with Pakistan recently in the England test series. They doctored those pitches. It's literally part of the game. You go play World Cup in different areas. You play test series in different parts of the world. So it's all the pitches and the conditions that give that ultimate advantage. So literally, if somebody comes here, my advantage is going to be to literally get my batsmen to learn how to play spin and start to get those pitches to crack and put like 3 good spinners into the team and let them run racket, bro. Play
Okay,
the
so
spin.
we have the stipulation. The stipulation is ODI, the Gabber, and it's the 2013-2014 Ashes team versus the current USA team.
Oh God.
Oh,
Yeah, no
God.
chance. No chance.
Mitchell Stark. No, Mitchell
No
Stark.
chance.
Sorry, Mitchell Johnson. Mitchell Johnson is tearing up.
Well, I
That's
mean, if
just
you remember, a team like India folded for 36, man.
yeah. That's the Johnson. That's team
and they
Mitchell
lost that
Johnson.
test match, Australia, right? If I'm not mistaken, didn't they lose that test match?
Oh, I don't know. I know against one of them. I think India kept him to a draw. Is it no? India didn't keep him to the draw. Isn't it? Michael Clark took the wicket on the final ball of the day. Is
I
it? I
think
can't
so.
remember. Yeah, that's Michael. That's the Michael Clark, Mitchell Johnson era. Those were the days.
Oh
Those were the
man.
days. I was recently watching some Michael Clark stuff. He could talk. Some of
Oh
the
yeah.
stuff he was saying to Jimmy Ince, like, we're gonna break your arm. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do that.
Oh, I mean,
Oh,
those were classic times, man, of sledging and fun stuff, So,
oh yeah.
but yeah, I mean, like USA cricket, is on the up and up, but a lot of systematic issues to resolve. Tonight we've discussed, so much, from transparency issues to the importance of safeguarding policies, and the upcoming national championships. So again, it was a fun night. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. If you guys don't have any questions, yeah, I think we're gonna call it for the night. Make sure to check out our links in the description. Check out the Reverse Scoop shop. Support youth cricket development at the grassroots level. And yeah, I mean, like anything else, Adam, you want to add here, man?
Great pod notice. Thanks in the chat. Thanks to Will. Thanks to Nico for the roses in there. Thanks for the questions, guys. Yeah, great pod. Keep on the lookout. Plenty of cricket coming up. Pakistan,
Yeah.
India, they're playing. Pakistan and
Australia,
Australia. There's a tournament going on right now. And good stuff coming up this summer. A lot of fun cricket coming up, especially for me with the Aussie content coming up. So with the Aussie summer of cricket. So it'll be a little bit more Adam versus Nabil, Pakistan versus Australia, our other homes.
Oh yeah, we're gonna start. We should actually start to do some content videos on that too.
Oh yeah,
I think it'll be fun.
I started the list. Top five cricket Pakistan versus Australia moments.
Oh, let's
you got
do
the
it,
Shane,
bro.
you got the Shane Watson bit. You got Sean Tate bowling 160 kilometers an hour. You got some of the World Cup fixtures from like the 90s where Pakistan got up on Australia a couple times. So plenty of good stuff there. But no, we should do a Pakistan Australia thing with the ODI series,
like a boxing match, like a debate boxing match or something. Man, come up with a good idea, and
we'll do one for one. One really good Aussie moment, one really good Pakistan moment, and then we'll have a vote which was the better moment. That's probably the best way to do it.
I think that's a great idea. So definitely, look out for that, and absolutely, check out our links, check out the community membership section as well. If you guys want to engage with Adam and I more, we're going to start to do our monthly Q&A episodes as well with our fans and the people that want to be part of our community, right? So the paid community, you guys can check it out on the Diverse Scoop channel. Go to the community tab and you guys can check out all the perks you guys can get if you guys are going to sign up for the community membership section. So definitely check that out. And Adam and I are going to be providing more day-to-day updates to our subscribers on that community section side. So definitely check those out. And yeah, until then, Adam Bannon and Nabil Khan from the Reverse Scoop, calling it a night. Thank you so much.